Israel tem menos de 9 milhões de habitantes, ou seja, 0,1% da população mundial. Mas tem mais startups, cientistas, engenheiros, patentes médicas, taxa de gasto em pesquisa e desenvolvimento e profissionais em tecnologia do que qualquer país do mundo na relação per capita. Israel é, sem a menor sombra de dúvidas, um dos ecossistemas empreendedores mais maduros do mundo. A união entre governo e inovação. Aceleradora, escalabilidade, retorno do investimento, avaliação de mercado. O governo de Israel aprendeu o significado de tudo isso ao criar sua política de apoio a startups. Hoje, Israel é o centro de inovação global. Ele é empreendedor, Global Managing Partner da Duco e ex-vice-presidente do Centro de Empreendedorismo da Universidade de Tel Aviv. Convidou ao palco Dan Balter.
Hi, everyone. It's an honor to be here and a pleasure to meet you all. Actually, I have tried to remember a word. I don't remember how to say it. Prazer. Okay. So, actually, we came here to speak about the relationship between governments and startup ecosystems. Israel is a great example, and we will speak about it. But today, I'm going to present to you three things. First, how Israel became the startup nation and how it develops with time between the relationship between the government and the startup ecosystem. Second, models of working with a non-stop changing world. And third, we're going to speak about what Brazil and Latin America can do about it. So, a lot of governments want to be the next Iron Man. They plan to be, they make a strategy about it, and they actually begin to speak with the startup ecosystem. We can see two sides to this strategy. First, about fulfill and make a growing startup ecosystem with funding, and the second is actual work with startups and specific technologies. You know, all the buzzwords, AI, digitalization, all the usual terminology. But what they need to understand, and this is something that I am seeing in Israel and around the globe working with governments, is that before you becoming this Iron Man, you need to walk your first mile. And walking your first mile, it's not an easy thing because you actually need to go and do before you plan so much. Now, even Israel walk their first mile. And I want to show you how they did that. So, a bit about Israel, 70 years old country, 60% of the country is desert, conflicted area, of course, not just with our neighbors, though internally too, religious, the seculars, Jews, Arabs. and no natural resources. Now we have gas, but when Israel was created, we had no natural resources at all. A bit of water. So, with this fact existing in the beginning of the country, look what we have achieved. 96 Israeli companies are trading NASDAQ. Half 2018, we had 53 exits, just 6 months. We have less than 9 million people in our country, and we are number 1 in startup per capita. Number of startups per capita. Sounds impressive. Yeah? Sounds impressive. But before Israel became this Iron Man and became the startup nation, there were few segments that assist us to become the startup nation and make us to build this enormous startup ecosystem. So the question is how it happened. First, population. Israel is made by immigrants. Most of the country are immigrants. And I'm talking as a son of immigrants. I'm Latin American. My mom is Argentinian, my father is Uruguayan. I know, no one is perfect. It's okay. I know that was a good joke. But immigrants, what we need to understand about immigrants is that immigrants are risk takers. My parents left Argentina, Uruguay, to go to Israel with nothing. They left everything they had, family, careers, everything, and went to a new country with an idea and a vision of having a good life with no promises and nothing else. So they took a risk. Second is the integration process. The government of Israel built it looks like a factory. You came in as an immigrant, you go out as an Israeli. You learn Hebrew, you learn Israeli culture, you learn how to go to the bank, how to go to make processes with the government municipalities, for example. Everything. You finish this process of 6 months as an Israeli. And that makes a huge difference between the moment you get to Israel and the moment you finish the plan. Second thing that assists us is our culture. We are very direct, informal. I know most of you will understand what I'm talking about. You understand Spanish, so in Spanish there is the usted and tú, tutear. In Hebrew, we speak the same thing to the prime minister and to a friend. We are very, very direct, informal. Second thing is creativity. Think of the situation that people in Israel didn't have natural resources to create a country, and they needed to do everything from nothing. So creativity is part of our culture. Third thing, and it's a very famous word, it's chutzpah. We have our chutzpah. And I didn't find the word in English or Spanish for it, but it's between having the guts, having the courage, and being a bit rude, but in the good way of it. Now, chutzpah assists us a lot in business world because we have the courage to come shake the hand of Trump and tell him, hi, can you give me please the email of Mark Zuckerberg? So this is a good thing for business. And the third part is the military, of course. That is a part of our life. Each Men and women in Israel go to the military service. It's an obligatory service. Men's for 3 years, women's for 2. We get a lot of skills from it. For example, management skills. We manage at the age of 18, 19. Sometimes you manage a group of people that are older than you, and you get used to it. Or making decisions. In the business world, making decisions is a huge thing. It's entire courses of MBAs deal about how to make decisions. In the Israeli army, you don't have any course. You just need to take decisions in a daily basis. Sometimes it's going left or right, and sometimes are tough decisions like shooting or not. Of course, the difference between business and the army is if you take a crucial decision, you can pay for it. And this is a thing that you learn in the army very, very well at the beginning of your service. Uncertainty. You live in an uncertainty environment for 3 years. Now, uncertainty is something that in the business world is very, very, you feel it in a lot of ways. And there are people that say that you learn with the ability of living in an uncertainty. I believe. Of course, there are people that burn with an ability to live with more or less, but it's something that you can learn. You get used to it. Social network. Poor and rich people in the army are serving in the same units. So it makes a huge social network with the people in it. Of course, units like A200 is the intelligence unit of the Army of Israel. It's a special unit that works like the startup world. Before, you know what? I'm going to get back. Before, I'm going to explain you how the government of Israel took these things into a huge startup ecosystem and build this ecosystem. I want to tell you my point of view about these 3 points. Every year, we have in Israel hundreds of delegations coming and trying to learn how Israel did that, and how they can copy the model and bring it to Brazil, for example. I personally received a lot of delegations from Brazil. And I have sad news. I'm a party pooper in this thing. It's impossible to copy it and bring it here, because the urgency feeling of the Israeli people of, if I don't do it today, maybe tomorrow I will not exist here, and in most of countries. And this is why governments and delegations that come and speak with me in Israel, I'm telling them Israel has great methodologies, great working models, but you need to see the model, learn it, and adapt it to the local culture. Without adapting it to the local culture, it will not work. So Israel became a great ecosystem, and the government, as a lot of governments today in the world, supported with regulations, supported with funding, because they wanted the ecosystem to grow and to have a great number of startups and venture capitals and companies. So they worked with this model. This model is called Triple Helix. Triple Helix model is like a network that has 3 sectors: the private, the public, and the academia. Each one of them is bringing to the table his abilities and his part and key factors. So the public sector is bringing the capital of funding and is bringing vision and regulations, he's like an enabler. The private sector bring the entrepreneurs, the cooperates, the investors, and the academia bring the talent, bring the knowledge. Now, this model works fine. It looks like waterfall process. First, they understand that they need education, so they give funds to educational programs. Then, in the entrepreneurial process, they understood that they need acceleration. They need to accelerate companies. So they give grants to accelerators, etc., etc. The same in the funding stages. For example, in Israel, we didn't have seed-level investments. So the government of Israel, the Israeli Innovation Authority, now it's called like that, but it was like the chief main scientist of the country, invest in venture capital that wanted to come into Israel and open their own venture capital in Israel. So they match 50%, 50%. That's a great model, but I'm again have to be the party pooper and to say it's not working anymore. The world is changing. And the thing is that it's changing so fast that just supporting, as a government, supporting the startup ecosystem, it's not enough. Today's changes are the slowest we will see. And in order to give value to the next generation, we have to make changes faster as a government, to be an enabler for changes faster than what we are now. Now, don't forget, and I'm saying something that is very clear for all of you, Y generation and X generation have already voting rights. They want everything now. They can't wait, not in a day, not in a week. They want it now. Now, also let's see it from the perspective of the government, of the public sector organizations. Till a few years ago, the organizations split to operational department, execution departments, and strategy part. People that are building strategy and business plans and looking 20 years into the future, and departments that are actually executing. This is part of the model that doesn't work anymore. In the world, we are seeing a movement, an entire movement of governments and big organizations that are changing their structure into that, giving the opportunity to each department to be bringing strategy, planning, and executing, because then you can enable a validation process and quick wins with the market very, very fast before it change again. So there is a missing link between the startup ecosystem we spoke about and what I'm saying, that there is no time. We have to make the time to market shorter. How we make it? How as government we enable startups to make shorter time to market? The missing link is an internal ecosystem. Governments need to build their own internal ecosystem, builds of people, from knowledge, and from the organization itself. Each one of them, again, brings different things to the table. The people bring intrapreneurs, internal organizational entrepreneurs. There There are people that want to make the impact, want to change. It's very, very relevant for the young generation. They don't care anymore about the money, the salary. It's not just about the salary. It's about impact. They want to be seen. And knowledge, they are expert. No one knows better than you about your job. Startups want to get to the market, to the citizens. But who knows better the citizen than you? And third part is the organization. The organization have a lot of resources, unused resources. And what makes the connection between the two of them, it's a community. This is the missing link. You need to build an internal ecosystem within the organization. Don't change the structure of the organization, but build an entrepreneurial ecosystem that knows how to speak with the external one. And the community need to exchange knowledge and work together about the execution processes. Now, I know it's very amorphic, all what I'm saying, and it's very like 20,000 feet. And I want to give you a real example about how it works. So, Jerusalem municipality came to me 2 years ago and told me, we want to be, we want to be smart city. Another nice buzzword, right? We want to be a smart city. And so we are open to startups. Let them come to us to speak with us. And we will think how to work with them. We'll give them grants. We have even a hub. We can give them a chair and a table to work nearby us. And we told them it's not enough. If you want to make a real progress of becoming the next smart city, you need to go deeper within your organization. So that's what we did. At the end, and I will go to the end process, we get 8 companies into the process. Those are the names of the companies with not the most cutting edge technologies. But even those not cutting edge technologies was impossible to implement within the existing processes, bureaucratic processes of the organization, of the municipality. So the process looked like that. First, we met with all of the decision makers of the organization. In this case, Jerusalem municipality. We spoke with them about their challenges, existing challenges. They knows better than me, better than any startup, about their challenges, the city one. So we spoke about the challenges, and we map all the needs of the organization. Then we choose, with the decision makers, 5 strategic challenges that they want to really solve. And here you have them: parking and transportation, connectivity, sustainability, resident and tourist services, and public safety. The decision maker has ownership because he chose the challenges he wants to solve. Next process was setting KPIs. We connect the existing KPIs of the people of the organization to the process of execution for the projects. Next, we scout startups. We get 245 startup applications. We chose 8, and from those 8, We did experimentation stage, and then we went to a pilot and implementation. We implement 6 from 8 at the end of the line, implementing 6 technologies in 3 months. It's crazy. Now, what about Latin America? I want you to go to your organization, map your key players in your ecosystem, understand who are the decision makers, who are the entrepreneurs, who can be like community leaders. We call them innovation ambassadors within the organization. Then choose with the decision makers strategic challenges that they want to solve, that it helps them to reach their KPIs. Connect the organization KPIs, scout for solution. It can be outside or internally. People of the organization have a lot of times very, very good ideas about how to solve problems that we didn't even thought about. Experiment. Funded experiment is super crucial for this process. And then pilot and implement. So a bit about us. I know that the time is running, but I'm 2 minutes, and that's all. So a bit about us. We are a global company that builds innovation ecosystem. My background is entrepreneurship. I did an exit in biotech field in 2012. And as vice president of the Entrepreneurship Center of Tel Aviv University, that is the biggest one in Israel and one of the top 25 in the world, I joined this group of people with different qualities each. So there is me, of course, on my right. There is Elena, that is the founder and was the CEO of the Entrepreneurship Center of Tel Aviv University. Above me, you can see Achi Gwirtzman, the corporate executives, you can see. He was the global vice president for innovation of HP Software. A bit about organization that we work with, of course, Latin America. We work with the industry ministry of Uruguay. We work with Procomer from Costa Rica. We work with universities. We work with private sector. And we have a global impact in those countries. Now, in each one of them, it looks different. And this is the most important sentence you will get from my lecture. And I'm getting back to the beginning. If, in order to become innovative, organizations must innovate, do the first mile. Thank you very much.